was hot at Carino. There's nothing he could do about it, but,
I sent him.
You got a filthy email.
Yeah, I sent him one too.
Because we're.
I love you, Steve, but
we're trying to do something here, and it kind of threw our plans off. But not to mention, once again, I was hurt. I had a really screwed up back.
Yeah. I mean, and Carino's kids more over than him in 0-1 anyway, so I don't know why they called. I said it. It's me.
Silly question. Which is the backup camera, and which is? That's the backup. So I'm going to look at that one.
Yeah, because I want dramatic impact.
Just because.
In your face, CM Punk, the eyes to you.
That's right. It's all about the eyes.
What were we saying?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I got nothing.
Continue.
Memories of putting that match together.
Honestly, going in, I was hurt.
So was I.
Yeah. Your knees were still shot.
No, my back. And you were late.
Your back. And my leg.
He was late.
Yeah, I was late. Yeah. Missed my try line.
Somebody knew to hang out with Mick Foley.
The other reason why we don't want to do this is because my leg was shot. I had heard it a couple weeks earlier. I think in New York.
Yeah, you should have seen his leg.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
disgusting.
It was like a pumpkin. He was sitting at my house. He had to elevate the damn thing because his shin. Like all this fluid would drain into his shin and his ankle, and it would just blow up like the size of a small gourd. It was great. I wanted to lance it. I just wanted to attack him while he was sleeping and just cut it open and a bunch of water fall out.
My leg was a mess, and I remember I did the match in Dayton, and I couldn't get my kick pad off because my leg was so swollen. And like these things are elastic, and I could not get my kick pad off. It took me an hour to get my kick pad off. I damn near cried through the whole process. Like it took like Punk and like. I think it was like D who was laughing the entire time, like grabbing each side of the kick pad and like slowly jerking it off me, and I was just like, oh, and like I screamed. And I remember we drove all night. We got to Chicago, and we were staying with Ace Steel. And I remember I put my leg up that night, and in hopes that it would drain. It did drain out, but by the time we got to the show, my leg had blown up all over again, and I was icing it. I walked right into the dressing room. I said, I need ice. They put my leg up on a Smith machine.
It looked like an infirmary because I wrestled twice the night before in Dayton. I wrestled Homicide and then I wrestled the 6-man. Not easy matches. So we had everything working against us. The timing was bad. We were rushed into this match. We were both hurt. We were both literally laying on this is how we called the match. We talked about it.
I literally talked the match. I was on my back. Punk's on his back. On his stomach with ice on his back. I'm on my back like this, and our heads are right here. I'm like, okay, now what do you want to do? All right, cool. And I mean,
and Gabe's running up to us every 5 minutes.
Hey, how's it coming together? How's it coming together? And I mean, it was so bad. If Foley walked in, looked at my leg, and goes, "Good God, you're gonna wrestle tonight?" I'm like, I don't really want to, but
that's why I had that weird patch on my back to start the match.
That
for some reason, I thought the Ben Gabe patch was gonna. I don't know.
But, I mean, in fact, because of that, too, we didn't really get a lot together at all. I mean, I remember we went to the ring, and at points, I was kind of in there going, I have no idea where we're going with this, but it kind of just ended up going real well.
And once again, just like the first match, a lot of that. The basic premise was, let's take all the silly headlock spots that I did, and let's just change them up, or let's reverse them. They're learned spots, I kind of thought it would be a cool idea if I thought I had the benefit of training for the match the first time, because I knew I was going to take Joe to the distance. Joe had no idea Joe was going to try to come out of the gate and crush me in 10, 15 minutes. This time, both guys trained for it. So Joe studied more of my tapes. So he knows my stuff. So he's reversing my stuff. He's reversing the reversals I hit on him in the first match. But the best stuff in that match was all on the fly.
Yeah, I remember. The one vividly I remember was
the stretch.
No, the stretch. Yeah, I actually made that up in the ring, and I don't know how I got in that position.
I don't know if you know this, but
I don't know if you know this, but that little STF that I ended up putting him in, where I bent him halfway from here to
completely backwards.
Yeah, completely backwards. I grabbed him and.
Did I mention I had a bad back?
Yeah. And the whole time he's cussing at me, "You son of a bitch! he's like, oh, I hope you find this really fucking amusing, and I'm just like, oh, sorry about that. Well, it looks cool, you know. There's, you know, I can't really. There was so much. I'd say a good 80% of that match was done on the fly, and really because of all the icing and us trying to just get healthy enough to walk to the ring, which is the absolute truth. And as ridiculous as it sounds, I mean, we were just walking wounded back there. And I remember now. It was like a spear spot. I mean, we came in, we were filling out the last half of the match.
Yeah.
And Punk called the spear, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I've never done a spear in my life. You know? Everybody just goes, spear. And I'm like, okay, but I, you know, came off decent, I guess.
Yeah, I remember Gabe. Gabe was super, super nervous.
Oh, he was.
I'm not saying me and him weren't nervous. We knew, you know, we had our work cut out for us, but this is what we do. So we went out there, and I remember my music starts playing, and I just looked at Joe and I went, all right, I just completely blanked out. Let's just listen to the crowd.
Yeah.
And just the look on Gabe's face, he just went, oh, and he watched in horror as I just ran out, and, you know, I didn't.
And they looked at me like if it was a joke, because like Punk's out, they looked at me as a joke, and I go, yeah, dude, I'm kind of in the same boat. Well, we'll figure it out.
So I think that's the benefit of not calling a whole lot in matches, is listening to the crowd, being able to react to what they're reacting to. If they like something, you give them a little bit more of it.
If they don't like it,
if you're shitting on something, you change up what you're doing and do something else. You know, I think that the first match and that match kind of had a big, like, fight night feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Especially in Chicago. Mm-hmm. They really thought they were going to see a title change. At least there was a possibility of it.
Oh, they were chanting new chant before the belly.
Yeah, they were going crazy. I mean, it still boggles my mind that I'm such a huge babyface in Chicago. I mean, I understand.
Because he's been an asshole to so many people in that city.
I understand. Yeah, I mean, I was born there. I mean, I understand the hometown guy dynamic, but it always just seems weird to me, and it still to this day humbles me. You know, and I mean, it just seems like I could, you know, you just kind of look over your shoulder to this side of the crowd and they erupt, you know, and it was like just a completely different dynamic. You know, Joe out of his element because the crowd's almost against him. So I think that added a lot to it, you know, and we were able to just kind of play with
the
crowd's
I had like 3
emotions.
fans there, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, 3.
Remember the brother on the corner
one
there?
guy that kept yelling stuff?
That guy was great, wherever you are. Finish him off, Joe. Whip his ass. I was doing it for you, man. It was like Smoke's granddaddy. It was great.
How do you think the match turned out? And again, is there anything you would go back and do differently?
I think the match turned out great.
Yeah.
Different days, you'll get a different answer. Which one's better, the third one or the second one?
Yeah.
I mean, I love the second one so much. Like, I mean, I knew probably about 8 minutes into that match, like, we had the people, like, so in the palm of our hand that, you know, we could have done less than we did, and we still could have had them. But, you know, the story that we were going to tell, like, I just knew, like, that early in the match, I knew these people were going to go nuts for it. You know, and they totally did. You know, the ending sequence with him and I fighting on the top turnbuckle, you know, I jockey for position, I get it, the place, yay, Joe fights out of it, Joe hooks something, boo. I mean, that's, you know, we were both, like, just so ecstatic and, like, elated sitting on the top rope, you know, and since we were doing we didn't get a countdown, we didn't know how much time was left.
The only thing we could have changed was honestly kind of the outside personnel, because I remember we had told them, we said, you know, hey, do the time cues, do this, do that, but for whatever reason, the time cues towards the end weren't announced.
Over
the PA, and I mean, not to help us, but it kind of helps the crowd too. So there is this impending sense of immediacy, even though they were going crazy for it at the top.
Yeah,
I think there would have been
better than all of a sudden the match just ending.
Yeah, because I think it ended a little bit flat because of that, and I mean, that's a little bit out of our control. It's a bit of a kind of a miscommunication, and like I said, Dayton was a new market. We're using, because, you know, we can't fly in all of our people who do kind of like the odd jobs and Ring of Honor from the Northeast to the Midwest. So